Today's practice will be a gentle yin style practice. Yin Yoga is a type of yoga where we have the opportunity to slow down and listen to the wisdom of our bodies. So we'll hold each pose for 2 to 3 minutes, but I encourage you to hit that pause button and hold for up to 5 minutes if it feels good for your body. Today we'll focus on the liver and gallbladder meridians. So that's gonna look like a lot of lengthening through the inner thighs and outer thighs, an entire leg. There are 3 main principles in Yin Yoga. The first is to find an appropriate edge. So once you get into your pose, find a place where you feel strong sensation, but it's not overwhelming. The second principle of yoga is to resolve to be still. So once you find that edge and you're in your pose, get those wiggles out and then find stillness. The third principle in Yin Yoga is to stay a while. We're focusing on the connective tissue, which houses the meridian system. So instead of dynamic flow where we're focusing more on the muscles, in Yin we're focusing on the connective tissue that connects the muscles and also the joints and the bones. So we're building strength and endurance. So let's begin.
Find a comfortable seat with a tall spine. If your hips are feeling tight today, you can raise them up by placing a block or a cushion underneath. Allow your eyelids to become heavy and take a deep breath in through your nose and also out through your nose. Set an intention to meet yourself where you're at in your practice today. So listening to the feedback your body is giving you and only going as far as feels right for you in this moment. Slowly flutter your eyes open. And if you're sitting on a cushion, just move it out of the way. And we'll set up for a wide-legged child's pose. You may prefer to straddle a bolster for a little bit of support. So kneeling with your knees as wide as they are willing to go, inhale. Fold forward as you exhale. Relax on your bolster and turn your head to one side if that's more comfortable. If you are protecting an injured groin area, be careful how far apart you spread your knees. Long, deep breath. With every exhale, allow your muscles to soften. Resolve to be still. If your head is turned one direction, now would be a good time to turn it the other direction. Long, deep breath. Pulling the tissues in the inner thighs and groin during this pose affects the liver channel. So with every inhale, relax deeper into the pose. And with every exhale, release more. At this point, you may find that you can release deeper, and you may want to remove the bolster out from underneath you. Or you might find the opposite and you want to come up out of the pose a little. Or you may be perfectly happy right where you're at. Take a deep inhale and a full exhale. To come out of this pose, bring your hands forward slowly, and on an inhale, raise your hips away from the floor. And then exhale and slowly draw them together one at a time. Then sit back on your heels and rest in child's pose for a moment. Slowly slither down onto your belly. Take a long, deep breath. Completely relax every muscle in your body. Setting up for Sphinx pose now. Push up to rest on your elbows, which should be shoulder width apart and positioned an inch or so forward of your shoulder line. If they're too far back, your shoulders will start to feel heavy. Bring your palms together in front of you, or you can cross your arms and let your hands rest on your elbows. Allow yourself to rest upright without slumping into your shoulders or attempting to lift up from them. Your back will arch in a gentle sway that creates length along the anterior of your spine and gentle compression on the posterior side. If you'd like a little bit more height, put a bolster underneath your elbows. You can allow your buttocks and legs to relax as long as you feel no sharp or shooting pains. If you do, move your elbows farther forward so your ribs also carry some of your weight, and engage your inner thighs. This will allow your back to maintain a very gentle arch without straining your limited range of motion. Long, deep breath. So find that edge where you feel strong sensation, but it's not overwhelming. Then resolve to be still. And we'll stay a while. Take a deep inhale and a full exhale. If you have a bolster, slowly move it out of the way and relax your forehead either on your wrists or the floor. Here's where we allow the energy to move through the meridian system. It's like a river. Once you remove the blockage, then the water flows. So that's what we're doing now. Inhale. Bring your palms underneath your shoulders. Exhale, press up and back to all fours. And if it feels good, do a little spine flex here for deeper release. Sleeping swan pose is next. So from here, take your left knee to your left wrist and then bring your right ankle to your right wrist. Left knee is forward, so the left hip will draw slightly back and the right hip will come slightly forward. If your left thigh doesn't rest on the floor or you have a sensitive knee, place a support under your left hip. Make sure that your back leg is behind your hip while allowing the front left leg hip to face the floor. You can rest your weight up on your hands for all or part of the time to prevent any stress to your knee. If you come down onto your forearms, push your elbows into the floor to shift your weight back into your hips. You can think of this pose as needing to be heavy in the hips and light on the front knee, and not the other way around. And if you feel this pose is potentially risky to your knee, then avoid it altogether and take eye of the needle pose instead, which I will instruct in the short session video. This external rotation pose affects the gallbladder meridian, which runs down the side of the body along the outer hip and places pressure on the groin to nourish the liver meridian. Meet yourself where you're at. So find that edge where you feel strong sensation, but it's not too strong. Resolve to be still. And now, stay a while. This is a very deep pose, so we'll come out of it slowly. Inhale, exhale. If you are all the way down in a forward fold, slowly come up to your forearms and rest here for a moment. Inhale up onto your hands. Exhale and draw your left foot behind your thigh, so your front foot. Rest here for a moment before you bend your back knee, so your right knee, and slowly roll onto the outside edge of your left hip. Both knees are bent. Gently bring your back leg, so your right leg around and on top of the left, so that your knees are stacked and your feet are sitting back near your hips with your hands at your sides. If this pose feels risky for your knees, you can extend the bottom leg. If you have lower back sensitivity or knee weakness, you can avoid bending forward in this pose and simply sit up straight with your hands placed on the floor behind or in front of you. If you do decide to fold forward, remain vigilant about the kinds of sensations you experience. Make sure you feel this pose in your buttocks, outer hips, inner groin, or lower back, rather than as a pull in your inner knees. You can rest your hands farther forward and round your back forward. And if you'd like, you can rest your elbows on a prop. I like to place my forehead on my thumbs. Wherever you are, find a long, deep breath. The pressure this pose creates in the inner thighs stimulates the liver meridian in the groin and pulls on the gallbladder meridian as it travels down the outer hip and leg. So finding your edge, resolving to be still. And now we'll stay a while. Take a deep inhale and a full exhale. Inhale to roll up slowly. Exhale, relax your shoulders. Lateral shoelace pose. We have the right leg over the left, knees stacked. Put your weight on your right sit bone and allow your left hand to move out to the side along the floor in line with your hip. You can either place a bolster under your left elbow, or if your right sitting bone stays on the floor and your hand is far out to the side, rest your forearm on the floor and drop your head to the left. And you can keep your right arm extended, or if it's more comfortable, you can bend your elbow and put your hand on your hip. Feel your rib cage expand with the inhale, and relax with your exhale. Inhale and slowly return to center. Exhale. Relax here. Lateral shoelace pose on the other side. Inhale. Exhale. Bend over to your right. And if you'd like, you can put a bolster under your elbow. Or reach your forearm all the way down to the ground. Your left arm can be reaching up above you, or you can bend the elbow and place it at your hip. Feel your rib cage expand in all directions when you inhale, and relax as you exhale. Inhale and return to center. Exhale, relax. If you haven't already, extend your left leg for half shoelace pose. You can stay seated tall, resting your hands on the floor, or you can fold forward. Fill the space. I like to place a bolster on the inside of my extended leg to rest on. Another option is you can put the bolster resting on your ankle lengthwise and then rest your forehead on the other side. And this allows you to release into a forward fold if you maybe don't have as much mobility in your low back today. I'll demonstrate this in just a moment. Wherever you have found your edge, breathe into it and find stillness. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and slowly bring your torso upright. If you used a bolster or a prop, just put it to the side for now. Seated twist is next. So first option is to keep your left leg extended. Second option is to bend the knee once more. Place your right foot on the floor outside your left knee and bring your left hand or elbow around your right knee. Your right hand can be used as a prop on the floor behind you or placed on your inner left thigh. Long, deep breath. Unlike active twists in which you might continue to lift and twist breath to breath, here you simply place your body in the shape, allowing your chest to be lifted while breathing slowly into the pose. Take slow, conscious breaths as your diaphragm will act as an inner massage as it passes by your digestive organs. This pose affects the gallbladder meridian along the side of the hip and the liver meridian in the groin. To come out of this pose, inhale, exhale, and release your left arm, bringing your right foot back next to the left so you can rest with your legs extended out in front of you. Put your weight into your hands behind you and just give your knees a wiggle if they need. And just notice how you feel on more than just a physical level. Inhale and exhale. Prepare to do that sequence on the other side. We'll start with sleeping swan. So slowly make your way to all fours. This time bring your right knee to your right wrist and right ankle to left wrist, and then ease down, extending your left leg behind your left hip. You'll feel a little bit like your right hip is going back and your left hip is coming forward. If your right thigh does not rest on the floor or you have a sensitive knee, place a support under your right hip. You can rest your weight up on your hands for all or part of the time to prevent any stress to your knee. If you do come onto your forearms, push your elbows into the floor to shift your weight back into the hips. You can think of this pose as needing to be heavy in the hips and light on the front knee and not the other way around. If this feels potentially risky to your knees, then avoid this pose altogether and roll onto your back to take eye of the needle pose instead, which, as I said before, I will instruct in the short session video. Find your edge, that place where sensation is strong but not overwhelming. And then resolve to be still. Allow your muscles to soften. And now we'll stay a while. The tissue we target in a yin practice like this is the deeper connective tissue that wraps around the joints. This connective tissue is more dense and less pliant than muscle, and because of this, it needs to be worked in a different way than when we work our muscles. So this slow release of tension in our joints through long-held postures stimulates the flow of qi or energy, which is important as energy tends to stagnate. Back to that water image, when there's no flow in the puddle, the muck is there. And when there's flow in a riverway, there's no muck, it just keeps moving through. It's the same in our bodies. So you may have decided to place a support under your elbows in this pose. Or you may have decided to keep your arms extended and have kept yourself upright. Wherever you are, long, deep breath. To come out, inhale up onto your hands. Exhale. Bend your extended leg, your back leg, and slowly roll over onto your right side. Gently bring your right foot in towards you, and the left foot slowly wraps around and then on top of the right for shoelace pose. So the knees are stacked or as close as you can get them. You can always fill the space by placing a blanket underneath or in between your knees. You can avoid bending forward in this pose and simply sit up straight with your hands placed on the floor behind or in front of you. Or you can fold forward and place your hands on the ground. I like to gently push the ground like I'm trying to push the ground away from me. And this gently eases the weight into your hips and out of your knees. Meet yourself where you're at. Take a deep inhale and a full exhale. Notice what sensations arise and what emotions, if any, go with them. Just as you become aware of these emotions and sensations, let them go like a cloud passing through the sky. If you feel limited by a thick feeling in your groin, allow your forward pressure to be slow and gradual, honoring the sensations of resistance by allowing your weight to impose a slight pressure. Be patient and follow your body's feedback to to determine if it is appropriate to go further. Long, deep breath. To come out, inhale, and using your hands or abdominal muscles, lift your spine back up vertebrae by vertebrae. Exhale. Lateral shoelace pose. With your left leg on top of your right, put your weight on the left sitting bone and allow your right hand to move out to the side along the floor in line with your hip. You may choose to put your elbow on a bolster. Invitation to gently move your head so that your gaze is towards the floor and then up towards the sky. And find a sweet spot for your head to rest in. And if your arm is uncomfortable, you can always bring your hand down to your hip. Long, deep breath. With your next inhale, slowly come back up to center. Exhale. Setting up for lateral shoelace pose on the other side. Inhale, bring your arms out wide. Exhale, reach way over to the left. Find your sweet spot on this side. Long, deep breath. Inhale and slowly rise up to center. Exhale, relax. Half shoelace pose. Extend your bottom leg, so your right leg, and place your support where you'd like it. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. If you have overstressed your hamstrings, then put a folded blanket under your right knee, so your extended knee, to avoid full extension. If your body does not come forward over your front leg due to tight hips or a tight lower back, then it's better to roll over and substitute eye of the needle pose for this, which I instruct in the short session version of this video. Long, deep breath. To support a shallower forward fold, you can put your bolster on your ankle of your extended leg, and then just rest your forehead on the opposite end of the bolster. And in this way, you can release through your back body. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and roll up slowly. Exhale, relax, and move your bolster out of the way. Setting up for seated twist. Put the sole of your left foot on the ground and bend your right knee, putting your foot near your hip. Inhale to grow tall through your spine. Exhale, turn towards the left, towards your top leg. You can try different placements for your right hand, such as on your thigh, or wrapped under your left knee, interlacing your fingers together. Once you've come into the shape, allow your chest to be lifted while breathing slowly into the pose. Take slow, conscious breaths as your diaphragm will act as an inner massage as it passes by your digestive organs. This pose affects the gallbladder meridian along the side of the hip and the liver meridian in the groin. To come out of this pose, inhale, exhale, and release your arm, bringing your left foot back next to the right. And then extend both legs in front of you and relax, allowing the energy to move. Inhale, exhale. Square pose is next. Option 1, you'll come to cross-legged with the right leg in front. Option 2 is to put the right foot on top of your left knee, your left foot under your right knee, and your shins are stacked. And fill the space. So if there's a gap between your right knee and your foot, you can fill the space with a blanket or another support. If seated forward bends do not aggravate your lower back, lean your weight forward at the hips and place your forearms on your shins, or extend your hands all the way out in front of you and put them on the floor as though you're gently pushing yourself back. Or I like to rest my elbows on a bolster and bring my palms together. This mudra also helps to balance the hemispheres in your brain. Wherever you are, long, deep breath. This pose affects the gallbladder meridian along your outer hips and places pressure on the liver channel in your inner groin. To come out of this pose, inhale and bring your spine to an upright position. Exhale. Take your time coming out of this shape. And then stretch your legs out in front of you, resting on your hands, and maybe doing a windshield wiper with your knees. And then we'll set up on the other side. Come to cross-legged, this time with the left foot either in front or with the left foot on top of your right knee and your right foot under your left knee. Shins stacked on top of one another. Fill the space. So if there is a space between your left knee and right foot, put a little support in there. You can place a cushion under your sitting bones to help the forward tilt of your pelvis if that's more comfortable for you. And if seated forward bends are comfortable, lean your weight forward at your hips and place your hands or your forearms on your shins, a bolster, or the ground. Long, deep breath. To come out of this pose, inhale and slowly roll up one vertebrae at a time. Exhale. Remove any supports out of the way and gently unwind your legs, extending them out in front of you. And take a moment in neutral. Setting up for lying butterfly pose now. Take your bolster and place it down underneath where your knees will be, and lie on your back. Bring your hands to the back of your neck and lengthen before you relax your head down. And bring the soles of your feet together, allowing your knees to fall open wide like butterfly wings. And you can have the bolster under your knees, feet at the bottom, or you can bend your knees a little bit deeper and rest your entire shin bones on the bolster. Allow stimulating sensations to be present without feeling overwhelmed. Now become still, muscularly unengaged but stretched, and mentally willing to surrender to the experience. And as we hold this shape for a while, your arms can be by your sides or perhaps hands resting on your belly. Long, deep breath. Inhale, exhale. It's time to slither into Shavasana or corpse pose. Extend your legs and allow them to be wider apart than your hips. And allow your entire trunk, buttocks, legs, and feet to relax completely. Feel as if you've been carrying around a heavy load that you've just let drop to the floor. Don't move your body or your mind now. Relax your attention with the sensations of pulsation undulating throughout your being. This vibration is the formless chi body, and fine-tuning your sensitivity to it is called developing an energy sense. Because the pranic flow has been rejuvenated, a natural quieting and calming effect occurs in the mind. Allow yourself to drink in this opportunity for full mind-body ease. If you remain calmly alert, yet free from engagement with any mental stimuli, you can experience a state of natural awareness, making this the most nourishing posture of all. Inhale. Exhale. I encourage you to stay in this posture for as long as you'd like. And when you're ready to exit the pose, take a deep breath in, a full breath out. Bring some small movements back to your body. Gently nod your head from side to side. If it feels good, take a big morning stretch. And then bend your knees and roll onto one side. Keep your eyelids closed so that your focus remains on the inside. When you're ready, slowly push yourself up and come to a comfortable seat. Take a moment to notice how you feel on more than just a physical level. We'll seal practice with a bow. Bring your palms together, please.
Thank you so much for tuning in. And as always, the light in me sees the light in you. Namaste.